the negativity is just being amplified by other influencers just pandering to that negativity. No, we need positivity. We need optimism.
No, we need positivity. We need optimism. Optimism.
We live in a unique time to be Pokemon fans. What makes this time so unique? Well, we're all mostly unanimous about how good the upcoming games look. Pokemon Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl both look very promising in their own ways. As a community, this is as close as we've all felt in a very long time. So why then should we allow ourselves to become divided because someone who has way more followers than he can handle says we should?
I've been talking about how much of a broken mess the Pokemon community has been for almost the last 8 years, and somehow I'm still surprised at how much of a broken mess it is.
I'm here to give real talk on a very important topic, Verlisify. Now, contrary to what you might be thinking, I'm not here to slander or belittle him as a person. No. One can, in some twisted way, not blame the man for being a toxic contrarian just so he can make money. What this is more about is how someone such as Verlisify can have a heavy ripple effect across an entire group of people that negatively impacts everyone, whether they're involved or not. And to top it all off, it's all for the sake of money. Similarly to how the world currently works, Verlisify is a niche and isolated example of spreading misinformation for monetary benefit. We see this psychopathic practice often in politics. Ultra-wealthy person is already wealthy, but wants more money to sit on, so he screws over the majority of citizens by spreading misinformation and bribing government for his benefit at the cost of other people's happiness, and, in some cases, their lives. Obviously, Verlisify is nowhere near as nefarious as these more broadly successful, evil men. But I will say, Verlisify's acts in the Pokemon community are textbook examples of how small it can start for someone to become what I just mentioned.
Because even the Pokemon subreddit is against Pokemon Legends Arceus.
To sum Verlisify's current strategy up, it's that he's a contrarian who spreads misinformation. Why? For the sake of views, of course. Matter of fact, after torturing myself by sitting through a dozen or so of his videos so that you don't have to, I've come to one very obvious conclusion. He doesn't actually believe what he's saying to his audience. Why else would he contradict himself so regularly to such an obvious degree? Again, I can't blame the guy for trying to make that paycheck. We all have to do it at some point. But lying to people regularly for your own benefit is a clear example of sociopathic behavior, and it can create a ripple effect of division and insecurity in any community. How am I so sure he wants to divide people for his benefit in remaining relevant and therefore obtaining cash flow? Well, look no further than his literal video titles. The problem with the Pokemon community is hardly subtle. Yet, once again, just like the evil politicians, people see this and somehow continue to eat up his words. This, my friends, feeds into something called narcissism. In other words, you, as a subscriber to him or someone like him, or as someone who just watches their videos, are feeding into a perpetual toxic cycle in more ways than one.
But the negativity is just being amplified by other influencers just pandering to that negativity. No, we need positivity. We need optimism.
Okay, so here is example number 1 of a cycle of hypocrisy to a heavy degree.
I have a lot of problems with Pokemon Legends, and the more I think about it, the more problems I end up finding. There's so many, I don't even know where to begin this video, so I guess I'll start off by saying it really feels like nothing here works for me.
Interesting switch, huh? He fought hard to defend Let's Go when the general consensus was that it wasn't a very well thought out game. Now he's fighting hard to say Legends is bad because the general consensus is that it looks like what we, as Pokemon fans, have always wanted. But what happened to this?
I look at exactly what we have and I go, wow, that's pretty awesome. I trust the game developers. I've trusted Game Freak for the last 20 years of my life, so why am I going to stop now?
Contrarian and hypocritical. He made quite the interesting switch, wouldn't you say? Where's that supposed positive energy now?
Pokemon boss Junichi Masuda.
20 years? Yet you can't even say Masuda correctly?
False information, or at least trying to change the facts because they don't like them. Tamashi, what are you thinking?
Coming from someone known for blatantly spreading misinformation.
And we can see that there's actually like yellow underneath the heart face on Rabombi, and that is the most that you can see inside of Pokemon Sun and Moon on the right. So the model has changed. The graphic map has changed, and also the graphics themselves have been massively, incredibly updated. And even then, we can see like Rabombi is looking at a different angle as well. So it's also kind of just gotten reworked and just looks way better. So I just don't understand the outrage.
Despite comparing identical models, according to Verlisify, it's an entirely new model if you can see a part of the model on one side that is completely obscured by a different animation on the other side. It doesn't matter that literally all of the old, reused animations are frame by frame identical to past games on completely different systems, which requires identical rigs or you run into glaring issues.
A trend with him, which we'll see more of as we continue. Picking one thing out and driving that home as an all-encompassing narrative.
Splishy Splash, how do I cancel a pre-order? Really?
We all know everyone's issues with modern Pokemon are a culmination of many things over the course of many years. Not Splishy Splash being an overly childish name for a move being the only thing that drove this person over the edge.
Are you so narcissistic? Are you so in your own world that you need to make that known to everyone?
What does this have to do with narcissism? How about you take a look in the mirror? Oh, and while you're at it, don't forget to make your likes and dislikes ratio visible to the public.
I absolutely loved everything about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. There's so many good things I love about the game, I probably can't even remember them all to say it in this video.
Notice how purposely vague this is. He can't list them because he actually doesn't feel them and knows people will just rip him to shreds in the comments. That is, if comments are enabled for that particular video. Are we getting the picture here? This is the same stunt Fox News pulls when they spread misinformation in their news broadcasts. The great thing, though, is that, thanks to modern technology, we can look at all of Verlisify's statements and find his contradictions, both with himself and with the facts. Let's take a look at his most recent video on Pokemon Legends Arceus.
No, we need positivity, we need optimism. Where do we begin with the disappointment that is Pokemon Legends Arceus? Even after the most recent trailer, my biggest issue from the announcement of Pokemon Legends still holds. Why does this game exist?
To take Pokemon to the next level with gameplay, mechanics, decision-making, and polish that makes it feel truly modern?
No, we need positivity, we need optimism. It's just Pokemon Sword and Shield's wild area. There is no innovation here. There is no taking Pokemon to the next step, because if we're talking about open world, we got a taste of that with Pokemon Sword and Shield.
If you had eyes and ears, you'd know this is a far cry from Sword and Shield's awful beta field. In Legends, Pokemon visually have different sizes, have behaviors while out and about, can attack you, fly away, can be found sleeping. We can ride Pokemon, take our entire team out at once seamlessly, use our Pokemon to do things with the environment, witness Pokemon be sentient about what's happening around them, and, oh yeah, here they live in their actual habitats.
No, we need positivity, we need optimism. It just feels like a regression of Pokemon, and they're trying to experiment way too much with it. But there's also no innovation to be found here in the genre. This is just Pokemon Breath of the Wild. But it doesn't add anything new to Breath of the Wild or anything new to open world games.
Actually, it does. I don't remember having Pokemon to battle with in Breath of the Wild. Being able to surf on a giant fish Pokemon whenever I want, or even fly around instead of just glide.
No, we need positivity, we need optimism, and all just seems like either a regression or something unacceptable. Like, in this trailer, like, this is where you need to show something massive.
He says as our character literally flies with a new form of braviary.
No, we need positivity, we need optimism. I like how they're taking, you know, like traditional Chinese elements and incorporating them into the Pokemon designs.
Okay, this one is an aside, but I know he did not just refer to a Japanese region as Chinese. So now he's a hypocritical contrarian and racist? I said I wouldn't attack him personally in this video, but he's just making it so hard sometimes.
No, we need positivity, we need optimism. Why does the camera move with us like that? That actually makes me slightly nauseous.
Nauseated.
No, we need positivity, we need optimism. The draw distance, is that actually like worse than Pokemon Sword and Shield? Like everything just feels like a downgrade here. Very little trees, very little immersion.
No, sir. This is not worse, I promise you.
No, we need positivity, we need optimism. This is like freeform Pokemon Snap, but worse.
Sure.
No, we need positivity, we need optimism. I have to complete tasks of observing Pokemon. Like, this is what I mean, there is no freeform to playing this game. This is Pokemon Safari with 2 action commands and it seems less exciting.
Okay, and that doesn't sound even a bit more fun than shiny hunting or tedious breeding for perfect IVs and EVs?
No, we need positivity, we need optimism, and then we get into crafting. I've won crafting in my Pokemon games. We kind of had that with Cramomatic. Cramomatic is incredible. Like, you have points that, you have alchemy. It's like Pokemon alchemy, and you get to get those items however you want.
No, sir. Cramomatic had random outcomes for what you got. Did you not play Sword and Shield at all?
No, we need positivity, we need optimism. How's that, how am I a specialist as a child that can make the apricorn balls? And why not just like make them more of a callback to apricorn balls instead of trying to make something new that doesn't fit or belong in Pokemon? No, we need positivity, we need optimism, and again, my problem with like the constantly conflicting lore of Legends Arceus. Where in Sinnoh folklore does it say that Sinnoh was not called Sinnoh? Also, people in Pokemon, I guess this is before people in Pokemon get along, but how does like the transition from Hisui to Sinnoh work? It doesn't.
How about you wait to play the game to find out? Aren't you the same guy who said give Sword and Shield a chance by playing it first?
No, we need positivity, we need optimism. There's actually some strategy going on here. Too bad it doesn't really seem like it means anything, because I'd also imagine that we're still playing Pokemon, so if I just have a Pokemon that's fast enough to always go first, and then use Strong Style to stay first with like a high amount of attack, I just win the game anyways. So I don't think this is going to add any like difficulty or competitive depth, especially in this hand-holdy game. No, we need positivity, we need optimism. If you took out this sky, actually wait, let's just do that right here. You do this. DLC 3 Pokemon Sword and Shield. In which case, we should have just tried to improve on this and make it in Sinnoh for the main series games. No, we need positivity, we need optimism. Aren't those flowers from the wild area? Like, they're just showing us wild area assets in like a more restricting game.
Again, you say as you show footage of a player character literally riding a Pokemon. Something we could not do in Sword and Shield.
No, we need positivity, we need optimism.
It really does baffle me how, even when he does make points, he draws the complete wrong conclusion from them.
This can be even compared to Legend of Zelda Breath of the... Oh my god, what is that? So this is actual Breath of the Wild gameplay, and in this screenshot alone, you can already see a lot of things that are very wrong. That tree is just a blobby mess, the rock face looks like it's just a stamp tool, and the ferns, it's just like a straight line that is actually just kind of modified by the model itself, and that doesn't even look that great. Now, some people are probably like, no, that's not from Breath of the Wild. You're cheating or something. This has to be like 2015, 2014 beta game footage. No, this is from the reveal trailer of Breath of the Wild back in 2016. So less than a year until the game's release, and it was looking like that. Not quite how you remember it, right? This seems to be the same tree from the tweet, and it looks a lot worse and a lot rough and in an unfinished state. Like, yeah, it has more texture than the Pokemon Sword and Shield tree, but it's just a blurry mess of puked up moss and bark onto some kind of stick. but then you can see that it looks a lot better in the finished game. So we can also give Game Freak credit for changing the trees and just having something for a working tech demo. So this isn't game footage, but this is from the starter Pokemon short that they made. And as you can see, if Game Freak wants to make something that looks better than anything in Breath of the Wild, they can.
Game Freak is not the company that makes the CGI cutscenes.
But the thing is, Game Freak isn't about making the most realistic Pokemon experience deliverable on the Switch, which would probably not really look that great. They're just making sure their game functions when they have so much going on and ambition that they have never done before.
Funny you mention it. Sword and Shield did not run very well at all.
I mean, look at that! That is a Pokemon game! How many times do I have to say that before it clicks? That we have dynamic weather.
The weather was anything but dynamic. It would abruptly change just walking 2 steps from one portion of the same field to another.
There's gonna be a crafting system.
There was no crafting system.
There's Pokemon that interact in different ways in the overworld.
There were maybe 3 canned responses any Pokemon could have at any given time. Not to mention, they just blindly walked around with nothing to do.
While also having gorgeous scenery.
The scenery was absolutely not gorgeous in the wild area.
There's going to be raid battles that are triggering and everything else going on in an open world environment.
The game was not open world. He'll straight up use the absolute wrong proof and come up with the wrong conclusion, and people will still believe him. If not about the current topic, then on other topics. The issue with this is that the sheer amount of misinformation he spreads by using fake examples, in this case, admitting the footage he's using to make a point is taken from a year before Breath of the Wild released, should tell the audience that he's untrustworthy, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Also, in no way do the trees from Sword and Shield even look better than those in these beta trees from the earlier Zelda build.
Now, if you end up enjoying the video, don't forget to leave a like. Even if likes and dislikes are disabled, your like is counted. It's appreciated and needed now more than ever because of how terrible the YouTube algorithm has gotten. I disabled them to mitigate dislike botting because that is another massive problem that has been going on with YouTube. Also, don't forget to comment down below your thoughts, share this video with your friends. There's just a lot of negativity and misinformation out there right now, so try to get the truth out there, spread just good vibes and goodness about Pokemon Sword and Shield.
He even admits in this same video that he has likes and dislikes disabled. His reasoning? Because of so-called dislike botting, and that it's a major issue right now on YouTube and that it's ruining the algorithms for him. Okay, first of all, dislike botting is not why these videos receive so many dislikes. It's because his contrarian opinions on everything rub everyone the wrong way. I actually don't know if he really believes this because he's that narcissistic, or if he knows full well why he's getting the dislikes but knows that it still benefits him. The second and most important thing to note here is that dislikes do not negatively affect the YouTube algorithm. Matter of fact, they have similar influence on the video's success as the like button. It all counts as an interaction, which YouTube likes, and therefore helps Verlisify and his content be recommended. Why else does Mr. Contrarian somehow have over 400,000 subs? Because his content is good? Because people like him? Absolutely not. People hate Verlisify. Ask your friends sitting next to you, or your friends in your Discord. They'll tell you the same thing. We all hate Verlisify. But that's what he wants. It's how he thrives. Some of you might be asking, okay, then why are you making a video like this about him? Aren't you only helping give him publicity? And the answer to that is, I asked you all here for one specific reason. To become aware of the toxicity this man promotes, and to take action on that. In this case, taking action takes the form of unsubscribing from him, not interacting with his videos. They're always nothing but clickbait, where you get lied to anyways, so why bother?
Pokemon Sword and Shield has now sold over 20 million copies as of December 31st, 2020.
Yes, but sales do not equal quality. Look at the user score for Sword and Shield on Metacritic. Unlike the quote-unquote professional reviews, these were not paid off. And you can't blame this on review bombing either, because Metacritic already cleaned all the review bombs up. Also, side note, I can only imagine how angry and cheated the developers of all these other top-selling games felt. Like, I know the Breath of the Wild devs could not have been happy that Sword and Shield and Let's Go PB sold as much, if not more than them by now.
I've been talking about how much of a broken mess the Pokemon community has been for almost the last 8 years. And somehow, I'm still surprised at how much of a broken mess it is.
Where? We don't seem broken on our opinions on Legends and BDSP. You're just trying to start controversy for clicks.
Because even the Pokemon subreddit is against Pokemon Legends Arceus. So we got this, Arceus is held back by its hardware, comparing Breath of the Wild to Pokemon Legends. And yeah, like every argument I've seen defending Pokemon Legends is just idiocy.
Oh, that's it. Thanks for clarifying. I forgot this one post that barely got any positive traction in a Pokemon subreddit qualifies as the entire Pokemon community being against Legends. Got it. Wow, smart man. Anyways, I hope you see by now how supporting someone like Verlisify is a detriment to us all. I obviously can't tell you what to do or who to subscribe to. Hell, you're probably not even subscribed to me. But what I can do is urge you to evaluate what's worth supporting and what isn't. And I can also very gently, yet somewhat firmly, ask you, why in the world are you still subscribed to someone like this?